So hopefully by now you've been able to see my Mavic Air 2 ActiveTrack and APAS demo in a forest on a seriously windy day. Now you might remember the video on this channel, DroningON Live, from that day, just how windy it was. You could barely hear me speaking through this phone, but it was what a test. And I'm really impressed. Now the only times that drone nearly let itself down on ActiveTrack is during its strafe movement, when it's moving sideways, because it can't see anything. It has no side sensors. Now, the side sensors don't have to be premium. They could have just been IR, infrared, incredibly cheap, and it might have raised that price of that drone a little bit. But to avoid you destroying the drone, I'm sure none of us would have minded paying another $10, $15 to incorporate side sensing. I don't really care about upward sensing, it's nice, but we don't need it, but side sensing would have been great. Anyway, behind the scenes of that video, I think it's really nice to show you an insight into how I produced this stuff. Now, at the time I had that big heavy SLR camera, a Canon 90D, an amazing camera. I had my little Rode wireless microphone as well, which is great because it meant that I could carry the camera around without worrying about wires and cables. I had the film from the video from the drone recording and capturing the whole time, 4K, 30 frames a second. And I had my screen recorder. Now, the smart controller has screen recording built in, but I was obviously using this phone with the Mavic Air 2 transmitter. So I used Android's built-in screen recorder, not third-party software. It works really well, highly recommend it. And there's no lag, latency, or lagging of skipping of frames in that screen recorder. It works really well, so I do recommend it. God, I look tired. It was a late night producing that video. Talking of which, so here's the timeline in Adobe Premiere. You can see the timeline for that video here. I'm using an XPS 15 laptop, really nice laptop. It's an i7 processor, handles 4K absolutely beautifully. You can just press play. There's me getting all excited. But the other thing that I love, that I used for the first time, obviously I had 3 different sources of video, the app, the onboard video, and also the SLR camera. Normally I'd splice them up individually and split between each view, but that takes ages. So I used Premiere's new, well, it's not really new, but multi-camera editing mode, and wow, what a time saver. You highlight all of your clips that are part of that multi-camera, you right click on them and then select create new multi-camera sequence. It synchronizes the audio for you, but I actually only captured audio from the SLR because I didn't need to capture it from anywhere else. Recommendation, at the beginning of that kind of filming, do a clap or like that. And that acts as your way of visually synchronizing your clips if you don't have audio for all of the clips. I highly recommend that method. And then it's as simple as this. It shows your 3 video sources on the screen. So I've got my onboard onboard drone video, SLR, and the app. And then you go back, scrub through your timeline. So for example, let's select this piece here and I'll zoom in a little bit. It's really good to show you guys this because it's a brilliant feature. And now you just press play. And as this is our main final cut on the right hand side here, but let's say I want to change the camera angle, I can just choose that one. And now it flicks to that camera angle in my main cut. I can now flip to this one, changes to that, change to this one. And as I'm editing in real time here, it's storing my cuts when I click stop onto the timeline. So when I now play that back and take it out of multi-camera mode, you can see now that the cuts will change automatically. And next one, there you go, to our app. And if at any point you want to change a cut retrospectively, you can use the number keyboard here as well to change between the different cameras, simply by pressing 1, 2, or 3, depending on which camera you want to flick between. Absolutely brilliant, and what a great time saver. I highly recommend that if you've not used it before. It is hard work filming a review like that by yourself. I had no cameraman. I was lugging a SLR on a tripod. The reason I had the tripod on there is in case for any reason I had to emergency control the drone, so I could just, rather than dropping my $1,500 camera, I could just drop the tripod. But doing all of that by yourself and thinking about the story you want to tell. You know, I need to think about where I'm going to go next. What am I going to look about? What am I going to talk about? But I enjoy it. This is why I do this stuff. And I think you can hear the enjoyment in a video like that. Sadly, some lame tossers still give it a downvote. But that says more about them than me, because I had a great time. And hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that video. If you haven't seen it yet, please go and see it. Link is in the video description. Anyway, more raw content like this coming soon. If there's anything you want to see about the editing process on this channel, this live channel, just let me know and I'm more than happy to film it. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. Subscribe!